everybody, and welcome back to College Football Corner. Kevin Walsh alongside Jersey Joe Archino. As always, 7 weeks in the books now. We're approaching on the 2-month mark, and last week's games maybe had the craziest game of the year. Michigan against Michigan State. Jim Harbaugh's team so close to getting the job done, but the crazy last play. Joe, talk to me about this game.
I think it's one of those things where you kind of look at it and it's really an indicator of where Michigan is and where Michigan is going. What Jim Harbaugh has done with this program, the way he's turned it around so quickly, is remarkable. But at the same time, the way that game ended and the way that they lost, I think it still kind of says how much farther they still have to come. But to be where they are, to be the number 2 total ranked defense in college football, to be so dominant in stopping the run, it's remarkable what he has done, but there's still a lot of work to do. Extremely difficult loss against Michigan State, especially having that one all locked up, but it didn't go their way, but still a lot of work to be done for Michigan.
Staying on that game with Michigan State, the Spartans have not looked that sharp, and realistically, they were a crazy play away from, if it did not happen, from taking another defeat. What do the Spartans need to do to get themselves back on course?
You know, it's interesting because I think Michigan State wants to be a lot like Michigan in that they want to be defensive identity based. And right now they're the 60th ranked total defense in college football, which for a Mark D'Antonio team is very uncommon. But offensively, they've got a little bit more of a spark than they've had. I just don't know if they finally have had a win where you could really sink your teeth into it and say, this is Michigan State, this is why they're a top 10 team. Clearly that finish, though, I think is going to give them a little bit of momentum and help them plunge forward a little bit.
Now, moving on to the Crimson Tide, Alabama correcting all the wrongs from that defeat that they took at the hands of Ole Miss, beating Texas A&M on the road to a huge win for Bama. Is this team now showing that Ole Miss game was really just one slip-up and they are as good as we thought?
I think it is. Look, in the SEC, it's a little bit of a different story. You look at how they've bounced back since then, beating Georgia, beating Mississippi State. They've really started to come into their own. They still have a very conservative offense with Jay Coker at quarterback. But as you saw in this game, when he doesn't turn the football over and when Derrick Henry is at his best, their defense is as good as it gets. They have the best, probably the best defense against the run that I've seen so far in college football. Everything comes together, and again, it's just when they don't turn the football over, everything works flawlessly for them.
Now, sticking with the SEC here, LSU showing to be the powerhouse of the conference so far, a huge win up against the Gators. What did you see from LSU? Do you feel they are the clear-cut best team in the SEC?
Look, I don't know if I'd say they're the best team in the SEC. I think they might be the best team in college football right now. I mean, you look at the way that there's not a better team against the run than LSU is, and they defend the pass maybe just as well as they do against the run. Leonard Fournette is the best player in college football. He's running away with the Heisman Trophy. The only knock I think you could put on the Tigers is a little bit conservative at quarterback, but you look at Brandon Harris, and he has had some nice moments this season. Obviously, Leonard Fournette has helped him tremendously. But there's so many things to like about the Tigers. The only thing that might hurt them in the long run is how difficult that schedule in the SEC. They're going to probably have to play in the SEC championship game. They still have a game coming up against Alabama, and that's on the road. It's the nature of the SEC, but I think right now, you look at all the collective parts of LSU, to me, they're the best team in the country.
Now, we are going to move back, though, to Alabama. A big game for them coming up against Tennessee. Both teams share in common the fact that they did beat Georgia. So Tennessee maybe with a chance here to show that they're a team to be reckoned with. But Alabama also with the opportunity to put that to bed and continue their dominant ways. How do you see this one shaking out?
You know, I do like what Tennessee has been doing. I think they've been building a little bit of momentum on their own side, but Alabama right now is just figuring it out. I think they really know. It took them a little while after the Ole Miss game. I think they kind of had to readjust to themselves and kind of ask some questions. What identity do we want to have? And they've found that identity, and since then they've really plunged forward. I think they'll continue to do that here. Derrick Henry, it's just a simple game plan. Be very conservative. Don't make Jay Coker throw the ball down the field a lot. Derrick Henry is going to get his yards. Your defense is going to stop the other team's run. They have their formula, and they're sticking to it. I have them winning.
I have to agree. Prior to the loss that they took at the hands of Ole Miss, I saw Alabama as the best team in the country. Now, I'm not sold on that thought as much now, but I still think that they are a team that is dominant, definitely need to be recognized as one of the best in the country, and I think they proved that with a win against Tennessee. Now, another team that is receiving a lot of recognition as one of the better teams in the country is Clemson, and they have a very tough matchup coming up against the U on the road. Joe, what do you see in this game?
I think it's time for a big statement win from Al Golden's Miami Hurricanes. I really do. I've been watching this team closely all year. I'm still not all in on the Clemson bandwagon. I'm really not. I think they have a lot of good parts. Their defense is outstanding. They're so big defensively. But I really like Brad Kaya. I think he's been getting more and more confidence. They're coming off a big win against Virginia Tech. I think it's finally time for Al Golden's team to pick up a statement, and I think they make that statement and they get the victory over Clemson.
You have the upset. I do not. We have differed all year on our opinions on Clemson. I do think that they are one of the best teams in the country. I trust Deshaun Watson a lot with the football. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in college football, and that is the reason why I'm picking Clemson to continue their winning ways and move on with another victory here. Now, the final game, a big game, Texas A&M, Ole Miss. Texas A&M taking that loss to Alabama. Ole Miss still keeping themselves ranked due to the fact that they did beat Alabama. How does this game shake out? Ole Miss desperately needing a win. Texas A&M, though, saying, hey, look, we lost to Alabama, but we're still a dominant team here. Both teams need this one. Who gets it?
Very interesting matchup here because both teams have to do a lot of soul searching after this weekend. Texas A&M losing to Alabama. Memphis beating Ole Miss, which really is one of those ones that makes you scratch your head. I think the only difference maker in this one that you've got to go to is which quarterback do you trust more? Do you trust Kyle Allen more for Texas A&M, or do you trust Chad Kelly more for Ole Miss? At the moment, both these quarterbacks are not playing with a ton of confidence, which doesn't help. I'm going to go with Kyle Allen here. I think Chad Kelly has struggled a little bit more with his control of the football, reading the game. I think Kyle Allen, the game is coming to him a little bit easier. I'm going to go with Texas A&M to pull off the road win here. But again, both these teams have a lot of soul searching to do. It's going to be a tough one to see how it plays out.
For me, I see Ole Miss getting the victory here. I think you look at them as a team that have taken their lumps. They had that big win against Alabama, and a lot of times you see that get themselves overhyped, and they've now taken some tough defeats. But I think that they correct things and get themselves a big victory here against Texas A&M, especially being at home. But we will just have to see how those things shake out. This has been College Football Corner. Kevin Walsh alongside Jersey Joe Archino. As always, we'll see you guys next time.